Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mike Premier Business Radio program. Nope, this is NFL Talk with Fox and Ox. Mike King here. I got the guys here from the NFL. We got Ken Oxendine, Dion Fox. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Welcome. Good to see you.
All righty, Mr. Fox. We'll kick it off with you. Tell folks who you are, what you do.
Dion Fox, President, NFL Alumni Chapter here in Richmond, Virginia. Also founder and president of 5756 Foundation. You can get in contact with me by sending me an email to dion.fox@nflalumni.org or 5756foundation.org or Mr. Fox at 5756 Foundation at gmail.com and also at 5756 Foundation on IG.
All right, James Madison's finest. Hey, real quickly, what was it like when game day came to JMU?
Here recently, since the program has blossomed so much, it was huge. It brought a lot of notoriety to JMU. The fact that they were able to bring game day there, because before they were just a 1AA school. This past season was their first season going up to 1A, and they were actually bowl eligible, but you're not technically bowl eligible until your third season of being in 1A. And Coastal Carolina, which was ranked number 25 in the top 25, they beat them the last game of the season. So, that was kind of sweet for us because we knew that we could hang and play, which was, it's good notoriety for the school. It's good for JMU and the recruits that we're getting. So it was great. It was great to see that.
There you go. Ken Oxendine, Thomas Dale's finest. I don't need to talk to you about what a game day is like, because you go into a place where game day goes to you. You're one of the powerhouses. Virginia Tech, all the Hokie fans, even my cousins out there, they're Hokies as well. All right, so Ken, give us your story, sir.
Ken Oxendine, like you said, Thomas Dale, Virginia Tech, Box SG on Instagram, Box Sports Group on TikTok, NFL alumni vice president. It's looking at it. It's just that excitement of the day, because you as an individual, you're getting in the game, you're getting ready for that game day part, and I was fortunate to play in the Sugar Bowl and in the Orange Bowl, and those games leading up for the day, it's one of those things where you have to be able to control your emotions in those concepts. Even down with the Super Bowl, you got to be able to control your emotions, because you can't get overhyped, because at the end of the day, it's a football game, and you have to be able to go in there. But from a fan standpoint, you talking about just seeing it, and because that's when I went back to see Tech, and I was a part of it as a player, but then also we went to the national championship when Vic went. It's bonkers. So you think about just people just losing their mind from a standpoint of that whole day, and then the whole festivities of the events. They're great opportunities, and it's nothing like being involved in it. And when you're able to be, it's just awesome.
So we're coming up to the championship weekend, NFL. This is NFL Talks, Fox and Ox here, Mike King Biz. When we're coming up to this right here, and it's a big game, and all the hoopla surrounding it, do the players feel it? All right, so everybody's okay. So everybody who wants tickets, everybody's trying to touch base. How do you guys control all of that craziness in your world? And as we're leading up to championship weekend, let's talk about like the preparation, like what goes on different than say regular games. Ken, we'll start with you.
Just being able to separate work. It's the whole work-life balance, because that because shoot, the NFC Championship, we were playing Minnesota that year. So we're up in Minnesota. You kind of against Randall Cunningham and Moss, and then their defense was playing lights out that year as well. And then they had their offense was it was a juggernaut. But you're traveling up there, and Coach Reeves, he had it where, before the games, you get there, you're a business guy. And so other programs, they do it differently when you get there. But you get there, you can see the city if you want. However that works, you eat where you want. So Ezra Tuaola, he was from Minnesota, and so he had a spot up there. And so we went up there, and we hung out with him and some of his friends that was up there. And so and his where he lived at, I think, was in the same neighborhood where Prince was. I was like, oh man, so, but we ain't never get to see him. But you're, it is this day in preparation. It was different from us because we had a business mentality. And so, and most teams, you talk about, hey, you're doing this is a business. It's just like Dion always says, everything's a business decision, how you handle stuff. And so, and a lot of times, and we'll talk about it later, is that sometimes people don't make the right decisions when they're getting ready to do stuff. It's the biggest game in their life, and then stuff don't happen the way it's supposed to happen because they decided to, get out and stay after curfew or those other parts and pieces. So you're just like, come on, man, what are you doing? And so, and you have to, you as an individual, because we are all individuals in their own right, and you got to be able to make sure that, you do what's best for your team versus what's best for yourself in a lot of those situations.
There you go, Mr. Fox. So that you're looking at games, everybody's hitting on you. Can you get me in? Can you help me out? For the person who's a regular, who's a fan, how does that go about when, all 1,800 of your first cousins want tickets to the game? Like, what do you guys do? Like, how does that work?
Well, my situation was a little different. We went to a couple playoff situations where, when I was in the league, also, you have to understand that us being in the league, even when we didn't go to the Super Bowl, we were able to access tickets and parking passes first. My rookie year, the Super Bowl was played in Miami. So had we gone all the way through, we'd had a home Super Bowl game. But I didn't have a lot of people contacting me about tickets and things like that because my circle has always been small. A family, main person I worried about was my mother. Okay. My mom got to do whatever she wanted to do. So if I told her, come on, and then my kids, and at the time, I only had only two of them were born at that time, my rookie year. Okay. And so I sat back, man, and just kept myself in the same place. And like Ken said, everything was worked like a business because that was my profession. Okay. Yeah, I played ball, but also spent a lot of time in that meeting room in that office making sure I could stay on the field, for as long as possible. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff that's going on. A lot of people come at you. It's a lot of things that they try to offer you and get. And everybody's looking for a come up during that time because they want to get in and be a part of the festivities. But as a player, you have to take care of business first because those festivities are still going to be going on for you to enjoy after the game. It can go two ways after the game. If you perform well after the game, it can go well for you. If you didn't perform well, then you might not get the love that you would normally get. So it's basically piggybacking a lot. The majority of what Ken said with the taking care of your business first, and then worrying about. It's like everyday life. Take care of your business first. You got plenty of time to do that other stuff. Take care of what you need to take care of first. But it can be overwhelming for people who are not used to it. And if they haven't had somebody talk to them or try to coach them through it or tell them what to expect. But I enjoyed myself during that time. I enjoyed myself during that time. There's a lot of stuff that I saw that it was like, oh, okay, so this does really happen, or it can really happen like this. So, but you just got to be cautious because you don't to do anything to damage anything. And it's a whole lot. It wasn't as you could damage your image or who you were or your job back then. So I can imagine how much harder it is for these guys nowadays to be in a situation to put them in a detrimental state when it comes to their profession because of something they may do, say, place they may go, people that they're around, because everybody has a camera and everybody's recording.
I think that younger people right now who are, and you hate to be the old man coming up, but I don't think that people right now realize how hard it was to take pictures back in the day. If I'm somewhere and I see NFL guys acting up, in reality, what is the chance that I have a camera with me? There's no chance. I ain't got a camera. I gotta have a camera with film in it, gotta have batteries, all those things.
A flash.
Exactly.
A flash.
And then I'm gonna take that roll of film and put it in the drawer with the other 22 that are in there and forget about it and don't know which one it is. So when, like you said, the players now, they have a platform, boy, but you kind of have to walk a fine line. I remember I talked to one of the high schoolers who was out there right now, and the dad said, I have to watch what I do because I don't want to jeopardize my son's money, basically. You know, when you start looking at the amount of money that high schoolers and college players are making off of name, image, and likeness, all it take is one incident and you could be done. All righty, gentlemen, this is NFL Talks. Mike King, Ken Oxendine, Deon Fox is here with us. I hear it is championship weekend, and I hear there is a couple games going on today. There are. I'm not going to say anything. We're going to start off with, and ladies and gentlemen, this is impartial journalism, but you see how I'm rolling. Ken Oxendine, lead us off with this because Ken, you had already said it could be a very good weekend for my Eagles.
Yeah.
But then I also explained to you that I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it could not. I will not look like this about 7:00 on Sunday evening. It's a very good possibility.
I hear that. Yeah, it's crazy. And when I was, and this is, I'm glad we talked about, the opportunity I had to go to the NFC Championship. Now, and this is what could be very, very interesting for you and the Philadelphia Eagles, as strong as much as they have been playing on top of that game, and the juggernaut that they are. We were the Atlanta Falcons, and we were going against Minnesota. So I talked about how, just comparing, I looked at the comparison of the games and the teams that both of the teams played. 49ers played Philly. Looked at the Bears with Washington, Dallas, and the Saints. The thing that stands out is that the Philly, in the games that they lost, either Hurts wasn't playing or other people had turnovers. So, and even in the game that they lost against Dallas, at Dallas, it was a high score. It was the score was 40-34 and lost. Philly had 3 turnovers, but their numbers were crazy. But the thing is, you take those turnovers away, so if Philly doesn't turn the ball over, you could see it being a blowout. But as fast as San Francisco's defense has been playing, that's what you will have to see. But this is also Purdy, the first playoff game, first quarter, he didn't have a good game. Second playoff game, the first and second quarter, he didn't have a big game. And then they had that one catch that possibly should have been not even counted because the wide receiver, and what people don't understand, when a wide receiver goes in motion, he comes across, you always see him point to somebody to make sure that he's on the line of scrimmage. there was a possibility that
Wait. Hold up. So when the receiver goes in motion, you're saying, who does he point to?
the
Side
referee,
judge.
yeah,
He points to the
The
referee
referee, the side judge. Yeah, side judge. And he asks him
and says
if
him,
he's
"Am I
lined up.
good?"
Yeah, am I good?
All
Yeah.
right. So is
Remember we
that
talked about the Washington game? Remember
okay?
we
So
talked
that
about the
was what the
Washington game where
problem
that
was.
took
He
place?
asked, "Was he good?"
Yeah, because he asked, was he good? And the ref said he was good, and then threw the flag on him and said he wasn't. So yeah, go ahead, Ken.
yeah. So in this situation, they didn't throw the flag. Kittles goes down. Kittles' lead goes down. Catches that big catch that circus catch, and then they go on to that was the big play that moved them, or moved them ahead. So, you know, all this is very. I say that because luck plays a big part in a lot of games. And you look at how Washington played and how they were playing at the end of the season. If they would have gotten to the playoffs, it'd have been really interesting for them.
Yeah.
But that's looking at this game, I like the Eagles a lot if they can control, if they don't have any turnovers.
Ken Oxendine, you're an educated man. I'm a lover of history. Who am I to stand in the way of the Brock Purdy story? Seriously, if he runs the table, there's fairy tales, and then there's that. I mean, we're talking movies like Rudy and all those things right there. They're going to make movies about him because he ran. How do you go from Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl winner? And even if he
They did the
doesn't be
same
the
thing for Kurt
MVP,
Warner. They did the same thing for Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner got his movie deal.
you better
Yep.
believe it. And Kurt Warner, I mean, you go from stocking shelves to that right there, you're set for life.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be the dude to mess up fairy tales, but we're going to try and send him back home. No. All right. So, Mr. Fox, Ken brought that up. I didn't know it was going to be, and I was just a curious fan. I'm just a curious fan. I didn't realize that was the play that caused your blood pressure to, to elevate. That was the.
No, my blood pressure didn't elevate. It's just it depends on what's going on, who sees what, and we have officials in the game to keep the chaos down and to try to regulate the game. We also know there's certain things that go on that you check to make sure that you're good. And things happen during the course of the game. But when you clearly see somebody's asking, "Am I good? Am I good?" and then they think they are, but then you have another game where you see something. It's not the same crew. It's not the same officials. However, just like we're supposed to do certain things, officials are put together to do certain things, you know, to keep the game in line and to keep order in the game. So it's just it's frustrating as somebody looking at the game because we as players who played in the game, we know the technicalities that go into it and what we're supposed to do on our end. Sometimes it goes our way, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes calls are missed. I saw a few calls that were missed. Sometimes calls are questionable. It depends on who you are if you get the call or don't get the call sometimes. You know, I've seen quarterbacks get smashed on a sack and nothing's happened. I've seen guys hit a quarterback that's well known and you see them clearly brace themselves and not fall directly on the quarterback. And it's roughing the passer. And I'm like, really? I said, at one point, they're going to give them flags. Like now, the Pro Bowl this year is a flag football game.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl this year is a flag football game. And so I'm thinking, okay, and God forbid, I really hope nothing happens to any one of them in this game playing flag football. But because it's flag football, you have to understand these guys that are out here doing this, we're not hidden, we're playing flag. They're still going to compete because they are competitors. Unless there's a conversation at the beginning, because one of the worst Pro Bowls that I've gone to, they all had on pads and it looked like a walkthrough day before the game. where they actually were going like half speed and then walking, and then nobody actually hit the ground. Nobody actually, like, no tackles were made. Nobody hit the ground. It was like walking through for the game. So, I mean, I love the fact that they're trying to make sure that the guys stay safe, no injuries. That's great. But the people who spend that money to go to that Pro Bowl still wants still want to see something, for their dime. But yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
as far as the game, getting back to Philly and San Fran, I think it's going to be a good game. Ken touched on San Fran's defense. Okay, so I don't need to. So I'll flip it. The defensive guy is going to talk about San Fran's offense. San Fran's offense is explosive as well. They were gamed well. They were game plans against very well in their last playoff game. But San Fran never really gets off to a fast start, like talking about it. Their main thing is taking care of the ball. As a third string, Mr. Irrelevant pick, he does not play like a third string Mr. Irrelevant draft pick. He plays like he's a seasoned vet and he takes care of the ball. He also has some pretty strong weapons on that offense. His main thing is, like Ken said, it's going to come down to taking care of the ball. Whoever takes care of that ball and can manage the game will come out in the end. However, Mike, I know you got your Eagles. I got San Fran in a close one. I'm
What?
picking San Fran in a close one. Hey, you asked me to be honest. I'm picking San Fran in a close one. And when I say close, like, it's seven or less. It'll be seven or less in this game, you know. But like I said, Philly's going to have to create some turnovers against San Fran.
Mm.
You got Debo, he's back. You got Kittles, you got McCaffrey, and then the other wide receiver, the other deep threat they got at wide receiver San Fran has, and then their running back, they got a running back. He's not big, but he's a powerful runner, and he's kind of impressive too. He came in for McCaffrey when McCaffrey caught the cramp in his calf last week, and he
Hmm.
had some good runs. He popped off a couple like 7-8 yard runs, which that's good to have as a backup, because now, okay, we didn't game plan against this guy. Now all of a sudden he came in, got like 6 carries for like 30 yards. That you getting 5 yards a carry, you're gonna get some more tick. I
Yes.
like Philly. It's just I don't like the inconsistencies with what's going on with their offense. However, Hurts did look better last week. He got comfortable when he played. He babied the shoulder at the beginning because he wasn't sure what was going to happen. But then he later on in the game, when he had that, I believe it was like maybe a 10, 12-yard touchdown run, he looked strong
Hmm.
with that. He switched arms. He looked good. It's
Hmm.
going to come down to defense. It's going to come down to defense. We both know both offenses can score. It's going
Yeah.
to come down to how defenses perform. So I'm not taking anything away from Philly's offense or San Fran's offense. It's going to come down to that defense and how that defense hold up. So I think the defense of San Fran may hold up a little bit better than the defense of Philly. That's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Oxen, Dion Fox here, NFL Talks, Mike King here. All righty, so you're on, let's stay on San Francisco with the Niners. Say Brock Purdy, whether he wins these next two games or doesn't, what happens when they come back with training camp? On Fox, we can start off with you on the business side of it. Jimmy Garoppolo, what happens to him?
Garoppolo, they may try to do something, get a deal with him somewhere else. They try to work something in the offseason with him. He's hurt. They was trying to do that earlier. Just so happens that it didn't take place, which I'm sure they're happy that it didn't, because when he came in before he got hurt, he performed well. Now they're saying, okay, we have film. He performed well. We get some money for him. Purdy
Okay.
goes up the second string, and Purdy goes up the second string. Okay. They already
Say,
paid. They already paid.
hold up, man. Hold up. I understand what you're gonna say. It is the money. I mean, you guys had Carson Wentz. You know what time it is. When
Yeah.
there's no love for Carson Wentz in Philly, we know who our guy is, the guy who took us there. You're gonna tell me that when the season starts up, that they're gonna forget what Brock Purdy did and just roll with Trey Lance. Number
They're
two,
not gonna forget. They're not gonna forget. They're gonna appreciate what he did and say he's earned his way to be a second stringer. Because Trey
second
Lance,
string.
yes, sir. Let me tell you something. When they brought Trey Lance in, they can't say Trey Lance can't do something because of an injury. And they invested all that money into that man. When he comes back, they're gonna he's gonna have his first spot back because that's what he had when he left. You can't strip him of what his place was because he broke his ankle or whatever happened to him, like his injury that happened to him that put him out for the rest of the season. You have to let him come back and say, okay, well, we'll see this. Now, if he's not ready to come back and start a game, then yeah, the second stringer will usually take over and play until he's ready to be inserted back in. Then give him the opportunity to lose that spot by performance, not by injury. So now they have Purdy knows he's a solid backup guy right now and could possibly get signed somewhere else. But this is just a stretch of what, like 6-7 games that he's been in, and he goes through and he wins the whole thing. I mean, it's the same thing where and I can't I wish if I'd have known this was coming up because it was New England. When New England went through that thing when Tom Brady got hurt, and then they used the backup to get through all the way through the playoffs, and then by the time it came up for the Super Bowl, the championship game, the Super Bowl, who they put back in? They put Tom Brady back in, but they wouldn't have got there without that backup.
But
And
that's
that backup
Tom
was
Brady.
who, Ken? That
Tom
backup
Brady
was
got
who,
a lot of
Ken?
history. Trey Lance ain't got no history.
Garoppolo.
Exactly.
It was Garoppolo.
That backup was Garoppolo in New England. And that's what happened where he went somewhere else and got signed at San Fran. Okay. So it could happen one of two ways. He could either be that backup or he could turn around and go somewhere else and be somebody else's starter. But Trey Lance is that guy for San Fran. It doesn't matter what we think. San Fran got that guy because they want him to be that guy. And because they want him to be that guy, he's going to be that guy until he loses his position. He hasn't lost his position because of injury.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
understand what you're saying. I understand your facial expressions, but that right there is the business of the NFL. If
right,
they drop
because-
that dime on you, you're going to be put in that place until you show you don't deserve to be in that place. Him being injured does not show he doesn't deserve to be in that place. All Purdy did was elevate his stock, which is good for Purdy. So now Purdy will have business decisions to make this year.
So what you're saying, sir, is my feelings are kind of out there on the love for the underdog. You know I was speaking on Taylor Heineke. I'm like, give him love. He wins. But you know what you're gonna say?
Exactly.
You know, Brock Purdy. Yeah, I'd hate to say this, but there's a parade, and he was the man. And now you're gonna tell me when we start up next year, they'd be like, "Yo, man, go ahead and take your place over there on the side. We're gonna give it back to the guy we gave all the money to and said he was the number one." Is what you're saying.
When they go into camp, he's going to be number one. Now I'm sure they're going to give him an opportunity to work towards being, Trey Lance is going to be number one. I'm sure they're going to give Purdy a chance to compete for the number one spot because of what he did, his performance. However, it's going to come down to what the final decision. The GM says, okay, player personnel, and that head coach. When they sit in that room and they had that talk, and they said, well, how these guys doing camp? But they said, okay, well, we spent all this money on this guy. We need to get our money's worth out of him. And that's what's gonna happen.
And that's the difference, because you look at because that's it's the same thing what happened. You think about really where Kurt Warner, and even then when Brady took over. The thing is that it could be very interesting because they don't know what Lance can really do. He did all right, and then you got Brady. You don't have to pay any one of them to go because they in the contract. It's really not losing money. The biggest thing with Garoppolo. So they go, like you said, they go put that. Now their thing is that we got two good quarterbacks. We know we got one, and the thing is that how is now year 2 when people got film on you with Purdy, and then see how that looked. Right now, they're still trying to figure him out, and then they got these other pieces. But once you have a year's worth of work on it, it's crazy how these defensive masterminds figure out how to then game plan.
Alrighty, so on the mic with Mike King here, NFL Talks, Ken Oxendine, De'Aaron Fox. Just so we're clear for the record, I'm writing this down in pen, not pencil. Ken Oxendine, you are taking that team.
I'm taking Philly.
I clearly, because of what I'm wearing, I'm impartial, but I am rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles. Mr. Fox, just so we're clear, I just want to make sure. So who are you taking, sir?
I said I was picking San Fran because of their defense, close game, 7 or less.
Okay, so what you're saying is I said what I said.
Oh, yeah, I said what I said.
That's
It is what it is. I said what I said.
Hopefully, I will have words for you on Sunday evening that you should have listened.
And if you do, that's fine. I sit there. Hey, look, I eat good some days, and some days I had to eat crow, and that's how it is. I'd have my share of crow.
But it doesn't work unless I win the next game. If I win the next game, watch out.
Oh yeah, and then
because if I win this game and lose that game, you just look like an idiot. I just say
no.
I look like
an idiot.
I look like a homer.
It's an accomplishment to go there. No, it's an accomplishment to go there, man. You are a fan. What I can say, I like the fact that you're a fan and not a fanatic. There's a difference. Fanatics, they off the charts and like so. I'm glad that you're just a fan.
Here's the thing: more fanatics are not from Philly. Like when I see a person with Philadelphia stuff, and I'm like, "Oh wow, you're from Philly," they're like, "No." I'm like, "Why are you an Eagles fan?" Like clearly, that's not one that you run out and jump on that bandwagon. I'm an Eagles fan because I'm from Philly. I have no choice. But Philly sports teams, I'm really going to jump on those bandwagons. Hey, we love Randall Cunningham, but you can go because we'll just waste your talent here. You're not going to win. Sorry. All righty, Ken. We are on to the next game. If there's ever been a thing where they're talking about the young guns, this is it. Patrick Mahomes, the old man.
Yeah.
The old man of all these quarterbacks.
Right. And now you really, because Cincinnati owns them. Yeah. Burrows owns them. So now the conversation really is not, well, Mahomes, it's, Burrows and how he's going to play in this game. And, but this is really what come down to is Mahomes healthy? That shot, that he's going to end up taking, he said he's going to play. Andy Reid already said that he's going to play. And so, yeah. So when does that wear off? If he gets hit in it, and then those other parts and pieces that go on. And really, I give this game to Cincinnati because Burrows has been playing lights out against them. And last week, the way they dismantled Buffalo, you're just like, wow. And Kansas City is going to have to keep up with them like they do with most people. Point-wise, they outpoint people. And I think if Mahomes isn't 100%, he's still going to do well. But how long will he be able to be in the whole game?
There you go. Ken Oxendine with the insight. De'Aaron Fox. So let's hear your insight on this one.
Well, my insight on this one, I agree with Ken as far as Patrick being injured. However, it was a whole week, and I saw Patrick Mahomes finish the game last week, gimping and limping, and he was back into hopping around. So I know that the technology that they have as far as working on that leg, that ankle, it's not fractured, it's not broken, it's a high ankle sprain, it's bad. But he was in a boot. I'm pretty sure he was in a boot all week, and he was in treatment first thing in the morning to last thing at night. He's getting stem, he's getting the compression on, and he's, physical. Everything's going through. So no matter what, he's going to be in better condition and better shape than what he was when he finished those last 2 quarters. of the game last week. Second thing is this. Cincinnati is 3-0 against, well, excuse me, let me say this. Burrows is 3-0 against Mahomes. Let me say that because it's easier to say it that way. He's 3-0 against Mahomes in Kansas City, okay, when they play. Two things come from that. Cincinnati has a lot of confidence, and Kansas City wants a lot of get back. You put those two together, you know you're gonna get you a good game. Okay. We know Burrows has that swagger. We know Burrows has that cockiness about him. That cockiness almost that you like to have in your quarterback when you go to play. It's going. I sound like a broken record. It's going to come down on who can take care of the ball at the end. Honestly, you know, it's crazy to say that Kansas City is the underdog. I'm going for the underdog. I'm gonna go for the underdog. I think that if Mahomes could do what he did last week on a gimpy leg, I know the leg is going to be at least 30 to 50% better this week. Not 100, but 30 to 50% better than what it was last week when it happened, because it was bad last week. To comment on what Cincinnati did with Buffalo, Buffalo wasn't that team that they were at the beginning of the season when they played in that game against Cincinnati. Let's just say that. And even though they were riding on the energy of their teammate coming back and recovering from the game that they played against Cincinnati earlier, they still weren't the same team. Because in the week prior when they played Miami, I wasn't impressed with Buffalo because I really thought that Buffalo, it wouldn't have come down to Miami mismanaging time at the end of the game to edge Buffalo on for them to win the game. Okay, I really did not think it was going to come down to bad management of the time of Miami for them to win the game. I thought Buffalo would have done more as far as dominating the game over Miami, considering Miami was on their third string. Okay, they had key injuries, but Miami stayed in that game. The game was close. So it's going to be a challenge on the team, but I'm going for, and it's crazy to say, I'm going for the underdog because it's crazy to call Kansas City underdog. I'm going for the underdog Kansas City in this game.
The underdog, De'Aaron Fox going with the underdog Kansas City. Ken Oxendine, you are taking Joe Burrow, and I'm rolling along the lines, and you guys know I love some Andy Reid. I love what he did for us and the culture that he put in place. But I'm rolling with Joe Burrow. And it's the funny part about it is when we talk about windows for opportunities, if you had told me 2 years ago, or maybe last year, you're looking at, I'm like, man, Patrick Mahomes will have a run of this thing. Him in Kansas City, they're going to have a lock on this thing now. And here we fast forward a year, and they're like, boy, Cincinnati came out of nowhere. It's almost like that. So it's talk about if you pick right and the guy that you say turns into the man, it changes your fortune because, Joe Burrow and Cincinnati has a swagger that Kelsey has. I don't see that in Mahomes. Mahomes is good. He's magic and all that. Kelsey got the fire, and it just seems like Cincinnati is talking about burying people. So we're here. Ken Oxendine, De'Aaron Fox. This is NFL Talks. Ken, let's put a wrap on this weekend. What can we expect? Great games. And also, you know what? Another part is De'Aaron Fox, you said game. You guys say that the speed of games picks up during the playoffs. What picks up faster, goes faster in the execution that you look at? Is it defense or offense?
It's both. It's both. You have to be quicker. Like the offense, is going to be faster with what they're trying to execute, but the defense has to be even faster to make the reads that they need to make on the formations that they see and be able to react. So it's almost like you zoning. It's a zone where everything else around you is blurry, but what you see in front of you. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything else. You don't hear anything else. 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people in the stands. You don't hear that when you're on the field. All you hear is what's going on with your 11 guys, with you and the 10 guys on your side of the ball, and the other 11 guys on the other side of the ball, and you're zoned into that. So yeah, it's almost like it's you have to be in that zone. And those guys out there will be in that zone because they're not going to hear anything else in that stadium. My rookie year, I don't recall hearing the stands, the fans in the stands. I don't recall hearing anything coming from the stadium when I was out on the field playing. And people say that's crazy. I was like, no, because you're locked in. So take that lock in from a regular season game to now a playoff game. Now you're not just in a regular playoff game, you're in a divisional title game. So every week it gets higher and higher. So it's going to be a great game, and we're going to see who can step up and what pressure does. Pressure do two things, and we know what it is. Make diamonds, bust pipes.
And you know what? There's more busted pipes than diamonds out here. That's for sure.
Indeed it is.
It truly is.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, it's easier to find a plumber than it is a gemologist. As they say, a lot of great dynasties won one in a row. Ken, as we finish this up, when I first met you, you talked about like these guys playing this game are the best of the best. From a team standpoint, they may not be the best offensive linemen, period, across football, but collectively they're the best. Let's talk about, as we wrap this up, how you go from being a high school standout to being a college guy to making it, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the NFC Championship game trying to get to the Super Bowl.
It's surreal. You think about your high school playing and being able to go to those championships. Think about college having the opportunity to go to that championship, win that championship, and then you have an opportunity in the NFL to go to that championship. And this was so crazy. It's the two, and I just thought about it, the two national championships from their senior years, Hurts and Burroughs. Didn't they play against each other in the
LSU
in Oklahoma?
Oh, I forgot about Hurts went to Oklahoma.
So Burroughs is like, because he always thinking that the Eagles will be there. He's like, they got to be there. I'm going to get some revenge. So you think about that mentality. Now you played on the college level and now on the pro level, and you get a chance to get your revenge. So that also may be something in the back of Burroughs. He carries that chip on his shoulder since with that Ohio State. So a lot of guys carry these chips on their shoulders. You think about Purdy not being Mr. Irrelevant. He's having something that he got to prove, and he probably always has been in that position. You think about having to prove himself when he got out. He went to Iowa. He probably wanted to go to one of the other bigger schools, but he was a smaller statured guy. Now, boom, he gets Mr. Irrelevant. Now he's thrown into the limelight and he's taking advantage of his opportunity. And that's a lot of what you think about those guys that are free agents, second round, and second, well, now it's not second day, but those later round picks, they have chips on their shoulders and they want to make sure that they take advantage of those chips. And but you talking about just exciting from understanding, from being able to play in a championship on every level, it's nothing like it.
There you go. NFL talks and guys who were there played the game at the highest level. So Mike King here, De'Aaron Fox, Ken Oxendine. Ox, how can people find you and your organization out there?
BoxSportsGroup.com, BoxSG on Instagram, Box Sports Group on TikTok, all things Box Sports Group, and Ken Oxendine NFL alumni.com, Ken Oxendine @gmail.com. Email us, let us know how we can help. We're trying to connect the dots with the community, the youth, and all things involved.
So you guys got the team summit thing coming. We're working on that, aren't you?
Yep, working on that team summit with the counties, RPS, Chesterfield, Henrico, Hanover, just trying to help the kids, give them a voice with all the things that they're going through at this time, getting a wrap on how to really just channel and and help them just navigate. And we're trying to just, continue this to help this youth become better.
There you go. Deon Fox, sir.
5756foundation.org, where we're creating positive change. Mr. Fox at 5756foundation.com. Deon.Fox@NFLalumni.org. And, and at 5756 Foundation on IG. We doing the same thing in community, giving back to the kids. Got a couple projects coming up, gonna put together. And as they come to fruition, I'll go ahead and share about it so that you guys keep an eye out for it. But trying to bring some notoriety to a couple places, and also do a couple things in the school. We have an issue with our young people today, and all this violence, gun violence that's going on. So going to push for an initiative for things with that, to have some educational series going on coming up in the next month or so. So, be on the lookout for that. I'll give you more once I have it solidified, but it's something that's needed. Our kids need to hear it, and it needs to be echoed. I'm tired of turning on the TV, whether it's here or somebody else, and all this gun violence from 6-year-olds to, however old, as young as 6 years old. It's crazy. So just to bring that to the forefront.
There you go. One of the reasons why I rock with these guys, Ken Oxendine, Deon Fox, they're out there making a positive change in the community. Like you said, we got a 6-year-old on one end of the spectrum shooting a teacher. On the other end, we got the old men out there killing people in the community. So one of the things we always try and do is affect positive change here. One thing, hey, you guys, there's a special I'm out there watching on Showtime, Boys in Blue. That is excellent. But it stems from violence with George Floyd and how a football team works with that. So quick note, housekeeping, we're going to be at the Hilton. We're going to be there Super Bowl Sunday. So all our good friends over at the Hilton downtown Richmond, come on by. We'll have more details. We will be there from 3 to 5. We're going to have Deon Fox, Ken Oxendine. We're going to have some friends coming through. We're going to be at Gathering Hem, our home I did with Women Speaking Sports. We're in the lobby. We're in the lobby restaurant bar there. Come on through. We'll have more information about that. If you guys would like to be out there and you'd like to sponsor 5756 Foundation, Ken Oxendine, it is there's outstanding sponsorship opportunities available where you guys get to rub elbows with NFL alum and help their nonprofit organizations out there. So one of Mike King here, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. You can follow me on social platforms, which is Mike King Biz, as well as On the Mic with Mike RVA. We'd like to thank our sponsors who keep us on the air, because they say the microphone ain't free, plus my grandkids need stuff. That is Synergy Technical, Romede and her team. Core Mortgage, our man KO, Kelvin Oliver is out there really doing big things, and Nicole Reed, who is the real estate queen of Richmond. So we'd like to thank them, fellas. We're gonna go. So we got the game today. It's today. It is tomorrow. We have the Eagles versus the Niners, and then we have the shootout with Kansas City and Cincinnati. Gonna be some great games. On the mic, Mike here, Deon Fox, Ken Oxendine. We got to go, gents. Take care now. Have a good one.
All right, there it is. All right, you do the same, guys.
Peace. Take care.